Shri Nadir Godrej has not only led Godrej Industries Limited to remarkable heights, but has also shaped the ethos of ethical and forward-thinking leadership. As we prepare to honor him with the Lifetime Achievement Award, let us take a moment to appreciate the immense contributions he has made to Indian business, agriculture, and social responsibility. His journey is nothing short of inspiring, and his legacy will continue to guide generations to come. And now, to bring the celebration to life on stage, it's my honor to invite distinguished office bearers of IMA. I request IMA President C.A. Naveen Khandelwal, Vice President IMA Mr. Ashwin Palsigar, and immediate past President Mr. Akhilesh Rathi to kindly escort Shri Nadir Godrej, Chairperson of Godrej Industries Group, onto the stage, please. Thank you, gentlemen. To mark this special occasion, I would now like to request Mr. Kirti Baheti of Yash Technologies to do the honors of presenting a floral tribute to Shri Nadir Godrej as a symbol of our deep admiration and respect. I beg your pardon, it's a sapling presentation. I would also like to call upon stage Mr. Ravi Bafna, MD of Harshvardhan Laboratories, to present the IMA memento. Can we have a round of applause, please? Thank you, Raviji. Ladies and gentlemen, to truly appreciate the depth of Shri Nadir Godrej's contribution and his inspiring journey, let's take a moment to watch a special AV introduction. Let's dim the lights and cue the AV introduction.
Mr. Nadir Godrej, you know a legacy is built right when it's been a part of people's lives for over a century. Mr. Nadir Godrej is making sure that legacy only gets bigger and better. For decades, he's been at the forefront of innovation, sustainability, and industry transformation, proving that success isn't just about profits, it's about purpose. His work has earned him awards, a doctorate, and global recognition. But what truly sets him apart? A mind that balances science with strategy, progress with responsibility, and occasionally spreadsheets with poetry. And when he's not revolutionizing industries, he's swimming, mastering new languages, or crafting words as effortlessly as he crafts solutions. A visionary, a change maker, and someone who redefines what leadership looks like. Please welcome Mr. Nadir Godrej.
A lifetime of achievement deserves a tribute befitting its greatness. To do the honors of reading the official citation for Shri Nadir Godrej, I invite Mr. Ansh Anand, CEO at Punjab Jewels, to come forward and share this remarkable narrative. Mr. Ansh Anand, please.
Good morning, everyone. To lead is not to command, but to inspire. To build is not just to construct, but to envision. And to succeed is not merely to rise, but to uplift those around you. The mark of a great leader is not found in titles or accolades, but in the change they bring to the world. Today, we gather to honor a visionary whose life's work has not only propelled industry, but also touched the very fabric of our society. It is with profound respect and admiration that we present the Indore Management Association Lifetime Achievement Award to Mr. Nadir Godrej, a luminary whose contributions have left an indelible mark on our nation. Born into the illustrious Godrej family in 1951, Mr. Nadir Godrej's academic journey is a testament to his unwavering pursuit of excellence. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, followed by a Master's of Science from Stanford University and an MBA from Harvard Business School. These formidable credentials laid the foundation for a career characterized by innovation and leadership. As the Chairman and Managing Director of Godrej Industries Limited and Chairman of Godrej Agrovet Limited, Mr. Godrej has been instrumental in steering the conglomerate towards unprecedented growth. His visionary leadership has been pivotal in the development of the animal feed, agricultural inputs, and chemical sectors, significantly contributing to India's agribusiness landscape. Under his stewardship, Godrej Agrovet has become a leader in sustainable agriculture, impacting the lives of countless farmers across the nation. Mr. Godrej's commitment to sustainability is not merely a corporate mandate, but a personal conviction. As the co-chair of the Godrej Good and Green Governing Council, he has championed initiatives that intertwine business success with environmental stewardship and social responsibility. His efforts have been recognized globally, earning him accolades such as the Green Business Titan Award for his unwavering dedication to sustainable practices. Beyond the boardroom, Mr. Godrej is a polymath, fluent in 6 languages, and has published works of poetry that reflect his profound understanding of life and humanity. His contributions have been acknowledged with numerous honors, including the Chevalier l'Ordre National du Mérite and the Chevalier de Légion d'Honneur by the French government, recognizing his efforts in strengthening Indo-French relations. Such distinctions underscore the global impact of his work and his commitment to fostering international collaboration. Mr. Godrej's legacy is one of holistic development, where business acumen meets social consciousness and where success is measured not just in profits, but in the betterment of society. His life's work exemplifies the ideals of leadership, innovation, and compassion. As we honor Mr. Nadir Godrej today, we celebrate a man whose vision and values inspire all of us to strive for a future where industry and humanity progress hand in hand. His journey reminds us that true achievement lies in the positive transformation that we bring in the world around us. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in applauding Mr. Nadir Godrej, the recipient of the Indore Management Association Lifetime Achievement Award. I now invite Mr. Sapan Shah to continue the proceedings.
Thank you so much, Ansh. That was full of energy, and it truly reflected your feelings and our feelings for Mr. Nadir Godrej this morning. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for, the presentation of the Lifetime Achievement Award. I invite all board members of IMA, IMA President C.A. Naveen Khandelwal, and the dignitaries on stage to come forward and present this prestigious honor to Shri Nadir Godrej. IMA board members on stage, please. Mr. Manoj Jain, can we give a standing ovation to Shri Nadir Godrej ji, please? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much for the citation and the award. Our group began, as you all know, 127 years ago. It started with our illustrious founder. We couldn't have had anyone sounder. Now, Mahatma Gandhi was a friend, and self-rule then the future trend. Ardeshir once just pointed out that he still had a serious doubt that profound economic dependence might preclude our independence, a point the Mahatma then conceded. But rather promptly he proceeded to turn the tables on his lawyer friend and asked him to work to that end. And so he started up his venture, which proved to be some adventure. Ardeshir's focus was invention. His single-minded intention was proving that he could do it. He could succeed, and he knew it. For Indian goods could be the best, surpass the British by every test. His surgical instruments didn't endure. They didn't prove to be a cure. His locks, however, could secure people's homes, and that's for sure. Thank you. The Godrej Group was on its way, and we are here to this day. He scorned the thought of protection and chose to prevail by perfection, and that he knew he could achieve. His customers could all perceive his products were the very best and constantly put to the test. To greater heights he would aspire. His safes survived ordeal by fire. Once in the harbor, a ship exploded. The outer walls of safes eroded. The inner contents were all intact, and even when thieves attacked, they could barely pit and dent. Sometimes the plates were slightly bent, but the safes would never break, and so the thieves could never take any goods his safes had secured. For years and years his fame endured. There was no limit to his scope. He worked as hard in tackling soap. For many years he tried his hand until he could well understand the ins and outs of making soap. To vegetarians he gave hope. The other makers were all callow and made their soaps from lard and tallow, not prime, but rendered in the street with the stink of rotten meat. But thanks to his determined toil, fine soap could now be made from oil. Chavi Bar was on its way. Godrej soaps saw the light of day. Innovation was incessantly sought. In science, he was largely self-taught. Since then, we seek to serve the nation with different kinds of innovation. Not long ago, my father had seen the benefits of alpha olefin. An industry-wide proposal was made. Unfortunately, it was downplayed. The technology fee was rejected, and Papa was most dejected. But he could never say die. Again and again he would try. His persistence was undoubtedly great, and Lurgi then helped him to innovate. An oleochemical process was found. Although the economics weren't sound, we went through some trials and tribulations, and our profits went through many gyrations. But fatty alcohols came into our fold, and now we are quite happy, truth be told. I had no idea what was in store. 1 year our loss was 80 crore. We wondered why we had invested in something strange and so untested as making olefins from oil. It hardly seemed worth all that toil. But alcohol was an intermediate, not ethyl, which gives an immediate kick to all those who imbibe it. And to the chemists, I describe it as from C12 to C18. And now this change in track would mean a change in all our strategy. To lead this change was up to me. I did not do it all alone. My team was good, as is well known. The group was there with all its strengths. To help us out, they went great lengths. A merger helped to save our skin. You must survive before you win. We lived to fight another day. Step by step, we found the way. We had to work to make things right. On every front, we had to fight. We needed to turn a new page. Japanese methods were all the rage. Their policies are very wise. They help the quality to rise. There is no real cost at all. With efficiency, expenses fall. Our people are our real strength. We know they'll go to any length. And TQM and TPM are perfect for involving them. We treat them all with great respect. for any gender, group, or sect. And any problem can be solved if all our people are involved. Not only did the quality rise, all of us became wise. Strikes became a thing of the past. Continuous improvement still does last. The progress was very steady. For challenges, we were ready. Manufacturing excellence makes for perfect business sense. Our Valia oleochemicals steadily grew with many products entirely new. Values. The Parsi has a simple creed: good thoughts, good words, good deeds. I think this helped them to succeed. It serves well the business needs. When Pirosha saw his workers live in central Bombay chawls, his only thought was then to give good homes with roofs and walls. A township's what he then conceived, for which he needed land. Some proposals he received, but you must understand, prime land was very hard to get. The best that he could find was marshy land and rather wet. Pirosha didn't mind. His friends all told him he was mad to buy so far away. Pirosha thought, though, was rather glad. He knew that come a day when marshy land would be filled and a township would arise, and all of us are now so thrilled and find him very wise. His son Sorab then rose to be an environmentalist. Our mangroves are his legacy, a sight not to be missed. Much land was lost, but much was gained, a desire to be green. Now some may feel we are constrained, but benefits are seen from energy efficiency, for which we strive so much, and from low-cost green energy, which now we find as such a big help in reducing cost. There is no price to pay. By being green, nothing's lost. We found a better way. Now that we have seen the light, we know we must create delight. In the face of fear, we must be bold. In troubled times, we mustn't fold. Instead, we must always bet on agility, thought, and sweat, and never turn an eye that's blind, for if we own it, we do find the wonderful colleagues we select and whom we humbly show respect rise to each and every need, and against all odds, we do succeed. And honesty is at our core, and trust in us is there for sure. The future generations should also see the value of good ESG. Ingeniously, we can plan it, serve profit, people, and planet. Sustainability is not a pain, for after all, it is a gain. It helps us all to survive, last long as well as to thrive. It's a license to operate. The ecosystem finds its great. Society, governments, banks cooperate, convey their thanks together with both heart and brain. Sustainably, let's sustain. With ESG spends, nothing's lost, as benefits outweigh the cost. And governance also pays. It's an effort in the early days, but over time you are rewarded. Implicit trust is then awarded. The values for which you stand help to enhance your brand. You must persist and never balk. Consistently walk the talk. If your governance is strong, the payback won't be very long. Always keep these facts in sight. Don't hesitate to do what's right. The strategy is tried and tested. In the long haul, it can't be bested. Now, ESG will take you far. Don't just be a shooting star, rising high before you fall. Instead, take the enduring call. All of us can forge ahead if we only learn to shed the barriers that can divide, and if cooperation's tried. With the help of business, I foresee a helpful, thriving society, and today I am deeply awed to receive this award. Thank you.
I am short of words to describe my feelings, sir. I've never heard a technical subject, something as mundane as a manufacturing process turned into poetry. It's for the first time I am even imagining something this can be made, and you made it so flawlessly and it was so nice. I have no words, sir, to express my feelings. Thank you so much for that wonderful talk you gave to our audience, and I'm sure the audience would share similar feelings.
Thank you.
What better way to honor a legend than to hear his insights firsthand? To lead an engaging and insightful conversation with Shri Nadir Godrej, I now invite Mr. Ashwin Palsigar, Vice President IMA, to take over for a special interactive session. Mr. Ashwin Palsigar.
Thank you, Sapan Bhai. Sir, I am in love with you. I'm in love with your words. I'm in love with your simplicity, the way we were greeted in Bombay. So what you stand for, so I'm in complete awe with you. So I've fallen in love with you, sir. And I'm sure, so all of us have. Let's hear it once again for Mr. Godrej.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been such a pleasure coming here.
This morning when I had the pleasure of meeting him in Bombay and also escorting him from the airport to the venue. I told him, sir, you're very simple, but does it need success and fame to show simplicity? Because, once you're successful and famous, then you can afford to be simple. He said, no, then the virtue is wrong. Continue doing good work. It will be recognized. It's just that this will take little more time. So that's the best way to be successful and famous.
Thank you.
So my question is, sir, so on one hand, Godrej stands for a big land parcel. It's hardly a parcel. It's an Amazon of behemoth land banks, pun intended. So you have thriving businesses, moral values which have gone down to the last leg of your people. So when you have this on one hand, on the other hand, sir, in today's society, you have youngsters who want to retire at 40, party every day, holiday every month, the over-romanticism of work-life balance. How do you deal, sir? Because I know in your speech you say hustle, sweat, thought, walking the talk. You go to office every day, you work very hard at this age. So how do you balance all this which is going on in the society?
Right. Yes, I work consistently, but I'm not sure I work very hard. Because there are lots of people working with me. And my job is mainly like a conductor of an orchestra. The musicians do all the work. And the important, and the fact that this is a long legacy, and my children have also joined the business, my nephews and nieces are in the business, this legacy and continuing this legacy is what drives me. And I'm delighted that I have time for all sorts of other things as well. I have a good work-life balance. And the main reason why I continue working is because work is so much fun. And we should always make sure that we enjoy the work we do. And if for some reason we don't enjoy it, we must find something about it that we change to make sure that we enjoy it.
Thank you, sir. So you were talking about family. So nowadays there's a lot of conversation about next generation India not wanting to join family business, especially manufacturing, but rather managing family wealth, having family offices, which could be a good thing. So what is your take, sir? How would it influence business, affect it? How would the paradigm change?
Yes, it's possible that not everyone in a family which owns a business would be interested in business. It's quite possible that children may have other interests. And we should encourage them to pursue whatever interests they have. But at the same time, if we introduce them to the family business early, it's quite likely that at least some of them will get interested. And I remember that even as a child, my father used to take me to the office on certain days, and I used to enjoy working in the laboratories. My father was also an industrial engineer, and because of my father, I became a chemical engineer. But on the other hand, my mother and grandmother were very interested in literature. My mother was a teacher, and my grandmother was a poet for liberation. And so I also took to poetry. So I say, I'm carrying on two family professions. Poetry from the side of the women in my family, and chemical engineering from my father.
That's nice, sir. So when talking of family members, when you have equally capable people, so besides excellent ideas, you also have bloodline inertia, you have fragile egos. So how do you reach decisions? I mean, decision making, how does that happen?
I've always believed in decisions by consensus. And it's important to listen carefully. And if you set ego aside, then if somebody disagrees with you, you're not going to be offended. You're going to wonder, why is he disagreeing with me? And it may not actually be the point of what they are saying. Try and find out what's underlying what they are saying. Usually, it's a very useful warning. If somebody disagrees with you, try and ask him to explain what he is actually thinking. Maybe it's a risk that you have not thought about. And then a very good solution is, yes, I see that this is a risk. Now, how would you go about solving this risk? Then you're very likely to reach a consensus very fast.
Sir, talking of going beyond family members, so like you were also discussing Parsi businesses having certain very strong traits. One strong trait, whether it is the Godrej, whether it's the Tatars or the Thermax or the Poonawalla group, we see the culture going down right up to the peon or the white-collared, blue-collared people, right from the CEOs and from the directors. So how do you make sure that these virtues are inculcated so thoroughly well?
No, it's very important to have a very egalitarian attitude and not a hierarchical attitude. Ancient societies were very patriarchal, very hierarchical. We must get away from that and give everyone an equal chance. Then people are very happy working, and you make sure that the environment is good for all the workers, and then they put in their best. They start feeling like owners. And we always had a little bit of this culture, at least in the office, maybe not so much in the factory, but with Japanese management methods, we found that it spread to the factory. If you ask the workers themselves to solve all the problems on the shop floor, they feel like owners. And then if you give them certain incentives when you're performing well, they feel even more like owners. When everyone feels like an owner, it's one happy family doing the work.
Thank you, sir. So with Parsis, there's another thing which we discussed also in Bombay, not necessarily Parsis, but also the number 13, which is, I think, more Christian. So, say in Tata groups, like there may not be a 13th floor, the 13th row does not exist in certain airlines. So any thought on the number 13 and superstition around that?
Yes, I know we discussed this earlier. Just a second. This is a poem I wrote on a Friday the 13th. And the title is about that. It's called Paraskevi Decatriophobia. It's the only time I've used a word as long as one of Shashi Tharoor's words. If you were to examine and probe a Paraskevi Decatriophobe, you'll find a person who takes his luck, not one who courageously makes his luck. But how do you learn to do this well? Is there an elixir, potion, or spell? I foraged and found a recipe. Take a generous dollop of diligence, then sprinkle it with intelligence, put a topping of compassion above, and bake it all with the warmth of love. And when you hear the clarion call, serve a good portion to one and all. All that you make with compassion and care, not for yourself, but to widely share, will surely bring you bounteous luck. In superstition, don't be stuck. I assure you nothing at all will be lost, but just in case, keep fingers crossed.
Thank you, sir.
Talking about superstition, I always remember what my grandmother used to say. She used to read the horoscope, and whenever there was anything nice, she was very happy. And whenever there was anything that was not so nice, she would say, Elokone sumalam. What the hell do they know? So, if you're inclined to be superstitious, I don't think there's any truth to it. But there are psychological aspects. So believe all the good superstition, forget all the bad superstition. But just take a precaution against it, a logical precaution. If superstition makes you confident, you will be successful. If superstition makes you worried, it'll fail you.
Thank you, sir. So, I mean, there are 2 generations, 3 generation businesses sitting right here. So, children have demands. I'm sure I have demands with my father. My children will have demands from me. So, what do your children demand when you have everything?
I have 2 sons who have joined the business, one a few months ago. He's still in his induction period. They're both very happy, and fortunately, they're not very demanding.
So, what are some breakfast table conversations? What do you discuss on breakfast?
All sorts of things. My younger son is quite interested in politics, so we often discuss politics. And we also, when they were young, my oldest boy was very interested in animals. So I would get him books of animals, and we'd talk about animals. And he was about 2 years old when he could recognize a Komodo dragon. Before his first birthday, he could say 100 words in English. And my youngest son was very interested in mathematics. So I just read a paper by Ramanujan on highly composite numbers. And so I explained to him when he was 3 or 4 years old about highly composite numbers. And he became quite an expert on the subject. And many years later, he told me that I knew what a highly composite number was before I knew what a composite number was. So they try to encourage them to learn new things, and they've always been very interested in academic pursuits.
Thank you, sir. So, there's so many new businesses which are happening, startups happening, coming with new ideas. How do you choose to say no to a business or accept a certain business? Are there certain protocols? Is there a certain structure in mind?
We have people studying strategy in the business, and our strategy people advise us as to what works. We are quite a diverse conglomerate, but many of the businesses we went to were adjacent businesses. We used to do solvent extraction, and we used to make groundnut extractions. And then Bühler, a Swiss company, decided to make animal feeds plants in India because they thought there would be a market for animal feed plants. They worked with Larsen and Toubro, built a prototype. Then they discovered there was no market. So they were ready to sell their prototype. And my brother happened to buy it because we were in the solvent extraction business. And that's how we entered the animal feed business. So it was an adjacent business, but it was total serendipity. We entered the household insecticide business because we bought a business in that field, which Unilever was about to buy but couldn't buy. So they came to us, and Unilever told them that, wait, I'll get permission later. The promoter was not ready to wait. And Uday Kotak asked my brother, if you decide in a week, you can have this business for the same price. And there was no time for due diligence. So he asked the managing director of the business, who knew the business well, to put up 5%. And Uday Kotak put up 5%, and my brother put up the 90% without due diligence. And a few years later, for that same price, he sold a 51% stake to Sara Lee. So we had a free 40% stake in the business. And later on, it grew very big. And when Sara Lee withdrew, we merged it and created Godrej Consumer Products.
Thank you, sir. So I'll move my chair a little because I want to end with a few rapid-fire questions.
Sure.
And we'll close because we've already got a signal to close.
Sure.
So one non-negotiable virtue of a person.
Honesty.
Honesty. So the first thing you observe in a person.
That's a tough one. What is their attitude to life? How do they greet me? How are they? Are they pleasant? That's what I notice.
One idea that changed your life.
I would say that science really changed my life. And the scientific method, having a scientific temperament, being logical, that's always been very important for me.
So how do you define generosity?
My wife feels that she's a saint, and she says, you can't do good without sacrifice. I'm an engineer, so I believe in optimizing. So when you're being generous, also think of what's good for you. Because being generous is good for everybody. That's how I look at it.
So what's your take on dissent?
Dissent is extremely valuable. If you have an ego, you're always worried about dissent. It's natural to be object to dissent immediately. But as I described earlier, dissent is an opportunity to find out a new way of thinking.
How do you handle failure?
As I described in my poem, by getting a team to work together and solving the problem.
And finally, how do you digest success?
Always take success with a pinch of salt. You always think that success is because of something you do. 99% of your success is good luck. 1% is what you did. Remember that.
Thank you, sir. This was absolutely enthralling, and really we don't have words to describe, sir, what we have all of us have gone through in the last 40 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ashwinji. Thank you, sir, for this amazing question-answer session. We are yearning for more, but because of the time boundation, we have to proceed. Every grand occasion is made possible by the visionaries who shape it and the team that brings it to life. To express our heartfelt gratitude, I now invite Ms. Shani Trivedi, Honorary Secretary of IMA, to come on stage and present the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Now I know why people carry this paper of script, because this is something to hang on to when you're short of words. So it was awesome. I still am taking my breath a little bit so that, I come in my senses to talk to you now. So we knew we were in for a treat the moment you took the stage, not just because of your sharp insights, but because you have this rare ability to make complex ideas sound poetic, sometimes quite literally. If boardroom discussions were half as lyrical as your speeches, corporate meetings would be a lot more enjoyable and probably even start on time. Your thoughts on leadership, sustainability, and innovation are not just lessons, they are reminders of the values that shape industries and societies alike. And in a world that often moves too fast, your approach reminds us that real success is built with patience, vision, and unwavering purpose. Much like the Godrej's iconic tagline, Kal ke liye aaj, your words push us to think ahead, to build not just for today, but for the future. You didn't just share knowledge, you left us all with something to think about, something to aspire to, and quite possibly a realization that we need to start taking better notes in the meeting. Just like how locks banai solid, your insights today have logged in some solid takeaway for all of us. And as Godrej has always stood for nurturing goodness through its commitment to sustainability and progress, your leadership embodies the same spirit, showing us that true success isn't just about profits, but it is about purpose. On behalf of Indore Management Association and everyone here, thank you for your time, your wisdom, and for reminding us that when leadership is done right, it stands the test of the time, just like a Godrej Almirah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chani. What an unforgettable morning. We have witnessed history, celebrated greatness, and been inspired by our leaders whose legacy will continue to guide generations. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give another round of applause, a standing ovation to Shri Nadir Godrej ji. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ashwin ji.